Hey guys, it's Quickie Baby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and this time we've got the pleasure of watching Striker Brain from the Russian server playing in the Tier 6 Premium Soviet medium tank, the T-34-85 Rudy Edition. And if you've never seen this tank before, you might be wondering why it's looking so fancy, and that's because it's based off a Polish television program called Four Tankers and a Dog, represented by the four handprints on the barrel, the Rudy name of the vehicle, and the designation 102. And as we're going to see later on in the replay, the dog does play an intrinsic role in the tank called Sharek. So just wait for that. This vehicle was released during the Berlin Trio or Berlin Quartet series of tanks that Wargaming put into the game, including the Cromwell Berlin, the ISU-122S, and I think the IS-2 as well. And all of those tanks were just a little bit better than their regular counterparts. Maybe one of the first aspects of premium tanks becoming just as good, if not a little bit better than their regular counterparts that Wargaming put into the game. And this is better than the T-34-85. It carries more ammunition, 56 instead of 48 rounds. It's got better aim time, 2.2 seconds rather than 2.3. It's got slightly better turret dispersion values at 0.12 rather than 0.14. It has a worse power to weight ratio, but it has better terrain resistances which make up for it. And also, it has 5 extra meters view range at 365 instead of 360, which can be incredibly useful at low tier. But it also has one other extra special feature. Oh, that's right, Sharek whoofs whenever you get spotted as your sixth sense indication. And that was pretty darn awesome. However, Wargaming seemed to manage to mess it up, and I think they broke Sharek when they introduced the new series of sounds, although he might be fixed now, I'm not 100% certain. Anyway, I haven't heard him barking in my garage in a while, I'm not sure if that's a mod. But I decided to go out of my way, and I spent pretty much an hour or an hour and a half last night making a modification just to be able to get Sharek to bark. Can you believe that? I really need to find a better way to spend my time. But hopefully you guys appreciate it. I just couldn't put a Rudy replay up without Sharek barking. It just didn't feel right. And it certainly is one of the most novel features of the vehicle. Now there is also another Tier 6 Soviet premium medium tank called the T-34-85M, but it is practically worse than the Rudy in every single way, apart from that it has 75mm of frontal armor instead of the 45 that the T-34-85 has. However, I would argue that because 75mm of fairly well angled armor can only go up to an effectiveness of about 130 on the front of this tank, it's really not very useful unless you're engaging tier 4s, possibly even tier 5s, but as soon as you're fighting equal tier tanks or higher, there's no real point of sacrificing all of the other aspects of the T-34-85 or the Rudy to be able to get the extra armor that the T-34-85M has on it. And so I think that this is certainly the better vehicle. So Striker Brain has already had a dominant performance this game. 4 kills, 1,800 damage. That is a very good game for a tier 6 tank without any further improvement. But he is going to go on to have an utter monster round here. He gets spotted, Sharek alerts us to that. He's got to be careful because he could get nailed in the side by the KV. The Skoda T-44 or even the KV-1 that was last spotted on the other flank. But he's going to focus on engaging the tanks to the north. Will he hit the Su-85? Doesn't quite look like it. One of the best things about the T-34-85 compared to, for example, the Cromwell Berlin is the alpha damage on the main gun. This 85mm has 180 average damage, which is way higher than the 75mm gun that you would be getting on the Cromwell Berlin. So it makes every single one of your shots feel just a little bit more significant. It also means that you don't have to have such a wild rate of fire, which can make you feel like you're spending forever just aiming or sitting still to be able to gain the maximum capabilities of your British medium tanks. Certainly I feel that in the Cromwell, but definitely in the Cromwell Berlin because the vehicle can't use vertical stabilizers compared to its tier 7 counterpart. The T-34-85 Rudy can't use vertical stabilizers either, but that rate of fire kind of makes up for the not the rate of fire, sorry, the alpha damage makes up for the rate of fire disparity there. So Striker Brain crests the ridge, shuts down an Su-85 and a T1 Heavy. Great kills there. He's allowing his team to push in through the north of this map. But I really feel like he's in the same kind of situation that I was in when I was playing my Centurion Action 10 the other day on in a video. Do you remember that I was trying to, I was situated here, my team were pushing in along the north, and I thought that they were going to be completely safe. Well, we'd lost the other flank, just like Striker Brain's team has here. And the enemies are going to be pushing into base. Oh, that's one of the reasons why I love this 85mm. Look at that. A standard armor-piercing round rolling for 200 against an artillery, killing it in a single shot. Something a Cromwell Berlin certainly couldn't do. It would have to fire twice. But I guess it fires faster. It does make up for it in some ways. It's not the be-all, end-all, that extra bit of alpha damage. So Striker Brain has decided that he's going to leave what were 3 tanks on the northern flank to be able to go south and to be able to protect the base, and it's certainly an important thing to do so, and we're going to see that his awareness is going to pay off significantly as he catches the T-150 in the open. Great play here by him. He spots an FV-304 as well after he takes out the T-150 with a single hit, taking his kill count up his kill count even up to 9. Now he's going to town on the side of a VK3601H, which is a rather dangerous tier 6 German heavy tank. That was the first vehicle that I ever got a Kolobanov's medal in. And it was in my first 1,000 games, but it wasn't due to skill, it was just due to a complete amount of luck, so I guess I burnt it all off early, hey. Now he catches the KV-1 in the open, advancing towards the artillery, trying to protect his self-propelled guns. And it looks like the VK3601H has indeed stopped to be able to assault the cap circle. Now Striker Brain's team has fallen towards the north. It looks like the Skoda T-24 on the enemy team, in conjunction with the artillery and the OI, had a very successful defense as they've got 7 kills between them. So the entirety of his northern flank has melted. They're going to be advancing from the north, and so it's ultra important now that Striker Brain keeps moving to avoid the artillery and makes an aggressive play towards the south to hopefully be able to finish these tanks up and then turn around and deal with the north onslaught. He takes his first hit of the game from the KV-1, losing 155 damage, make that another 149, but the job is done. Taking out the Tier 5 Soviet heavy tank and unfortunately crashing into a wall while trying to rush into cover to avoid the VK and also the artillery. I think he's noticed that the VK is firing high explosive rounds, however. The VK, I believe, hitting a fence post. Oh no, he hits the fence post now with the high explosive round being completely absorbed. If he was firing AP, then he would have gone straight through that into the back of Striker Brain's tank. So, fortunate event here. Striker Brain now on for 10 kills. Pool's medal secured. Will he pick up his 11th? He's reversing here into the line of fire, which I don't think that is that bad of an idea, considering that the tracks on the side of his vehicle with the spaced armor will be able to absorb most of that high explosive damage. And I think that if the VK was firing armor-piercing rounds, he would have probably turned around to face the enemy team. So now he's in a tricky situation. He's got 2 artillery bearing down upon him. He's probably got an OI who's up on that ridgeline waiting for him to come out. So he's got to stay behind the building and remain cool until the artillery misses, and then he can punish the Skoda T-24 on the enemy team. Hopefully his artillery are going to start to do something. They're hiding behind, but it looks like the Skoda is avoiding them as well. Artillery misses, and he decides to make his push. Slam dunks the Tier 4, or Tier 5. That is the Tier 4 Skoda, right? No, it is the Tier 5 Skoda. And then I love what he does here. How smooth moves were that? He was hiding behind the building, gracefully comes around, shuts down a tank, and then gets himself into cover again while he's trying to no longer be spotted to avoid the artillery. Absolutely awesome, masterful play here by Striker Brain under pressure. 12 kills now, but he gets spotted by the OI. The OI is on 350 hit points. He's going to have to shoot him probably at least twice here, or if he rolls average, twice to be able to take out this Tier 6 Japanese heavy tank, kind of like a raid boss at the end of the game here. He's on 4 kills, but the OI gives him far too much of his side armor. A decent roll there for 199 means that he can finish him in 2 shots with the OI's monstrous 150mm shell whizzing over the top of Striker Brain's tank. But luckily, the artillery raining death down upon him and missing narrowly. Oh, what a feeling that has to be. Can you believe that Striker Brain has got through this? He's now on 13 kills. If he can pick up 1 more, he will be getting the ultra rare Rosenai Heroes medal. So he's going to hit this mid-ridge. That FV-304 was last spotted there. And remember, the range of that Tier 6 British self-propelled gun is only up to about 500 meters. And so that means that if the self-propelled gun was here and he wasn't relocating, he's got to be in this kind of area all up on this ridge. His self-propelled gun also decides to leave base, making his way towards the artillery. Where is he? Where's he going to be? There he is! Striker Brain finds him, puts one round into him, tries to turn left to avoid his track traverse, and then decides to drive straight at him. A bit of a dangerous play there, I'd say, but a bold one, shutting him down and picking up his 14th. 4,872 damage, an utterly incredible game for the Rudy here. Can he kill the entirety of the enemy team? Having fired every single one of his armor-piercing rounds, now down to his APC. Oh my goodness, the artillery narrowly missing, but at least that was not a heartbreak at the end of this game. 12 damage splash from the M44's rather large caliber gun, and Striker Brain has got just probably a couple more seconds to be able to finish him off while he's reloading and take down a mammoth achievement, securing every single kill on the enemy team, an amount of damage that would be very respectable in a tier 10 round, let alone a tier 6 one. So it almost goes without saying that Striker Brain picks up an ace tanker here for his 2,293 base experience points at tier 6. He also picks up the rarest medal in the game. That is a Hero's medal for killing at least 14 opponents, in this case 15, a Pascucci's medal for killing 3 artillery, a Defender's medal for protecting the cap circle, and a high caliber for 5,340 damage done, which was pretty much double what the rest of his team combined were able to achieve, securing what has to be one of the greatest games of World of Tanks that I've ever seen. Striker Brain, congratulations to you, and Spasibo Balshoi for uploading this on the whatreplays.ru website so us European plebs can bask in your glory. And so hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like. It really helps the channel out. And click the more info icon in the top right hand corner of your screen if you want to see some other awesome Rudy action. And I also noticed that quite a few of you seem to be asking for some lower tiered gameplay, so let me know in the comments what specific tanks you really want me to feature. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.